The Riviera of Ulysses is one of the most beautiful places in Italy, an exclusive runway between wonderful views and beautiful landscapes. Homer and Virgil narrate these beautiful territories in the adventure of Ulysses and Aeneas, creating the myth, the story, and the poem of these lands. Here, the mountains and hills became the cradle of ancient civilization, from the Greeks to the Etruscans. The Latins founded the first civilization here, the Volsci unified the territory, the Romans built the Appian Way, temples, villas, megalithic walls, and other monuments destined to remain in the future. One of the most popular and elegant coastal tourist centers of the region Lazio is San Felice Circeo. The origin of its name, ancient Circe, recalls the story of the sorceress Circe, but on the other hand its name seems to be attributed to the configuration of its promontory, curved or circular, circus in Latin. In the Odyssey, Homer brings us to Mount Circeo through the encounter between the navigator Ulysses and Circe, the sorceress with her extraordinary powers used to turn her enemies and those who offended her into animals. We must not forget that on the coast of Lazio, control towers were built to protect the city from the constant attacks of the Saracens and the Middle Ages. Of the 6 towers along the promontory of San Felice, 5 can be admired in their original sites today. Not all people know that the profile of the promontory of Mount Circeo, seen from afar, looks like an island, and the local people see it as the profile of the sorceress Circe lying down. Terracina is a city situated at the foot of the Ausoni Mountains, which meet the sea and separate the Pontine Plain from the smaller and bordering plain of Fondi. Its origins are very ancient. The historic nation wanted founded by the Volsci, like Anxur, Jupiter as a child, name of the protector divinity of the town. According to the Odyssey, on the Pisco Montano, a cut of the rock created during the Roman times at the foot of Mount Sant'Angelo, there should be Elphenor's grave, one of Ulysses' companions, who had fallen from the high house of Circe. You cannot leave Terracina without visit the Temple of Jupiter. The temple, dedicated to the god Jupiter as a child, was built with the city walls and necropolis in the 1st century before Christ. This was raised on a pediment at 227 meters and widened by an impressive terrace with 12 great arches, built to be admired from the beach and from the open sea. On the top of this there is a platform on which stood the real temple with a rectangular plan and of Corinthian style. From these heights, it's possible to see also the island of Ischia and the Vesuvio. Sperlonga is an ancient village situated on a spur called Mount San Magno that has mythological origins. The name of the town, in fact, seems to be attributed to the presence of these numerous natural caves, spelunche in Latin. Before the Saracen raids that induced the local fishermen to retreat to the hills and paint their houses white to blind the pirates, older myths reigned dating back to the ancient Greek legends. According to these legends, the limestone caves situated in the area of Sperlonga welcomed the sea nymphs. Jupiter, according to the tradition, fell in love with the most beautiful of these, called Sperlonga, the goddess of limestone drop, and the cliffs that we find today in this region are believed risen by an earthquake and the uplift aroused from this legendary orgasm. The Emperor Tiberius had built a large villa which embraced one of the most extensive caves of the entire area right here. The marble group found in the Grotto of Tiberius represents 4 distinct episodes narrated in Homer's famous poem, and are sited in the National Archaeological Museum of the city today. Gaeta is a coastal town rich in art and culture. It is located on the promontory of Monte Orlando, a layer of the Aurunci Mountains, and divides the wide gulf which gives it its name into 2 parts. Due to the position of its peninsula, high and rocky, and very easy to defend, Gaeta became an armed fortress or castrum. From the second half of the 12th century, numerous new fortifications were built in Gaeta. It represented the endpoint of the Greek kingdom, where the papal state began, and was in fact defined and remembered over time as the key to the kingdom of Naples. In the Iliad, the city is remembered in this case for a sad ending. The death of the partners of Aeneas, Caieta, who was buried here, giving her name and eternal memory to this locality. Having a great history, Gaeta is a city full of monuments. But if you are here, you have to absolutely visit the San Francesco's Church, the Angiolino Aragonese Castle, and the Montagna Spaccata, with its beautiful Grotta del Turco. A curiosity is that if you're looking at Gaeta from Formia, Scauri, or from the other towns that remain in its gulf, it looks like a turtle. Formia is a coastal location and important trading center of the Low Lazio. Lying at the foot of the Aurunci Mountains and washed by the Tyrrhenian Sea, it has an ancient origins and expands on the sides of the Appian Way. The beauty of the sea, the mild climate, its location on the Appian Way, and also its proximity to the capital have made of Formia one of the most fashionable cities for the aristocrats of the Roman time. According to the Odyssey, Formia is the capital of the kingdom of the Laestrigonians. The tomb of Cicero in the plain of Pontone, at 2 kilometers and a half from the center of Formia, is located on the Appian Way. This magnificent mausoleum, restored between 1958 and 1959, is with a central plan about 24 meters high. The famous Roman orator, who was often in his villa in Formia to acquire new strength after his political and forensic commitments, was killed by Mark Antony's assassins at 1,000 steps from the beach of Indicio. The Cisternone, an ancient underground tank that supplied water to the upper part of the city, was discovered here in Formia just before 1930. It was probably built in the 1st century before Christ, but its masonry and vaults are still in perfect condition today. Ponza, the largest volcanic island among the archipelago Ponziano, is almost 8 kilometers long. It is surrounded by other small islands like Palmarola, Zannone, Gavi, Ventotene and Santo Stefano. From the Roman times, it was transformed into a place of exile for many important characters of the imperial families, and several political prisoners, including Sandro Pertini and Benito Mussolini, were relegated here during the fascist dictatorship. For what regard the legend, Giovanni Boccaccio, for example, narrates about Ponza in his genealogy of pagan goods, calling it Monteblivione. Among the places to visit in Ponza, there are absolutely the Ponzio Pilatos grottos, also used in the past for the breeding of eels, and the Chiaia di Luna, beach with a particular curve like an horseshoes. Unfortunately, it is not simple to reach these localities. To arrive by car from north to south, 2 dangerous roads must be taken. From north, for example, via Pontina, the road with the second highest mortality rate in Italy, and from south, Statale Domiziana, that seems in worse condition than when the Emperor Domitian built it. For example, there is no railway station in San Felice Circeo. So why don't make a different use of its port? It could also accommodate a public transport with hydrofoils. Or why don't have another use of the Sabaudia airfield? Terracina was an accessible city until 2011, when a boulder fell from the Mount Cuca on the tracks of its railway line, and since then the railway service has been suspended. Despite of the constant protests of the Citizens Committee, a quick solution seems impossible at the moment. Is it possible that the region Lazio and the Ferrovie dello Stato Italiane don't know realize how essential this train is? There is also no railway station in Sperlonga. The station is that of Fondi Sperlonga, located in the town of Fondi, outside the town center and approximately 10 kilometers from Sperlonga. So why don't use in a different way its port, recently extended and renovated? Even for Gaeta, by train the railway line is Rome-Naples and the stopping station is Formia Gaeta. When there was no direct train route between Rome and Naples, reaching the Lazio coast was very difficult. A branch that from the station of Sparanese Caserta to Minturno Formia Gaeta was put into operation on 1892. Today, reaching Gaeta by train will be faster and more convenient, also for the tourists in summer who are forced to fight with the chaotic traffic of the coast road. Formia is the only city really accessible in this area. It has a well-equipped railway station where many trains stop, long-distance trains as well as the regional ones. Also its port is well-equipped. From here, ferries and hydrofoils sails daily for Ponza and Ventotene. And is there no downside? Maybe just the fact that, according to Carmine Schiavone, an ex-mafia boss, many toxic waste were buried in Formia's territory in the 19th. And regarding Ponza and Ventotene, these are 2 islands. Maybe we cannot expect more than what we are, just that can be strengthened and lower the price of its heli taxi service. I really hope to have aroused the curiosity of those who had never visited the places where I grew up. Emphasizing the negative aspects of my territory, I hope to have attracted the attention of those who can really change something. I can travel the world, be fascinated by millions of places, but this is my beautiful home. The rest of the world is and will always be just my colorful garden.